Young Drunk.
Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission. 2 men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. My name is Len, a.k.a. the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
It's October 1st,
Nice.
missionaries, which means that we are in Bootober.
Bootober.
Where the mission sits and creeps out on some scary black films. And boy, we've got a good one for you tonight, as Vince has selected from 2019, Us, Jordan Peele's sophomore feature film that stars Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, and Elisabeth Moss. That is our review tonight here on the Micheaux Mission as we stream live from Yo Junk, Philadelphia's premier video podcast palace, to Instagram, to Facebook, and of course to YouTube, where each and every one of you are out there in the chat. Hello, missionaries.
Good evening, one and all.
It is Bootober, and we're going to be coming with the creepies. We're going to be coming with the scares. We're going to be coming with the jump cut. We're going to be coming even with a little bit of blood. But first, we come to you with a heavy heart.
Yeah.
As the mission and the world says farewell to one John Amos.
Yeah. We're losing the elders.
We are losing the elders.
Yeah, we are.
John Amos, who passed at the age of 84 years young. His passing was announced today, but he actually passed.
Yeah, I saw
on
that.
August 21st.
Yeah, I saw
They say
that.
from natural causes.
Sure.
You know, so I guess you just have to imagine they're maybe getting some things in order.
Sure.
Or wanted to be private.
I was about to say the privacy of the family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You can't tell people how to mourn.
That's right. John Amos, who is a favorite here on the mission.
Absolutely.
Has been featured in our reviews of Coming to America, Let's Do It Again, and also probably his other 2 classic roles are in the historical TV miniseries Roots.
Yeah.
And Forever and a Day
Yeah.
will be known from his role in Good Time.
Yeah. I think we have to officially repeat the sentiment that so many of us have done today and quote Florida when his character, James, died and say, damn.
That's right. What do you got to say about the passing of John Amos?
I mean, you covered basically it. He's iconic. You know, absolutely iconic, as much as he is a favorite of ours from the movies, and certainly he was quite memorable in Coming to America as playing a character who was every bit the equal of a king, portrayed by James Earl Jones, which says so much about John Amos. He was funny, he was charismatic, and then you and I, of course, love him, absolutely adore him from, as you said, Let's Do It Again, where he plays the mobster Kansas City Mac, who was enjoying some gumbo and wouldn't know why these people were doing all this loud talking with him. And I always, I do have to say, I tend to forget that he played older Kunta Kinte in Roots, but when you think about the iconic moments from Roots, the moment where grown Kunta Kinte holds up his daughter is John Amos. I mean, just the fabric, just part of the fabric, and he'll be missed.
And he's not, they certainly don't level up in classic stature to James Evans in Good Times and Kunta in Roots. But I was first introduced to John Amos actually as the sports caster on Mary Tyler Moore as Gordie Howard.
Sure.
And this is what I am amazed about John Amos, because he is a person that has a distinctive face, right? But in very much, he reminds me of Gene Hackman in that despite how familiar you are with his face, when he sits in a role, you see him in that role.
That's a good point.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, because Gordy was in Mary Tyler Moore, and like he wasn't like a regular, but he was like a semi-regular recurring character on the show. But he definitely was there for the laughs, and he brought the laughs. James Evans, he was comedic, but he also, you know, you felt that he was the father of that house. He was the patriarch of that house.
Absolutely.
Of that house. But you also felt, despite the age disparity, that he had developed a relationship. He was in a loving relationship with Florida. You know,
Yeah, absolutely.
with his wife, right? Then you go to Roots. He blows the doors off in Roots. And then I also remember that he plays the... he actually is also on the West Wing, because on the West Wing, on the first few years of the West Wing, he is the not commander in chief, the military.
Right. Yeah, it's like basically the Colin Powell character.
Right. The Colin Powell character. Colin Powell. And he is phenomenal in the West Wing.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. But and you believe him in that role. You just believe him. You think about him in Let's Do It Again, Kansas City Mac. He's like this street, you know, hustler, but he's badass. Man knows how to wear a suit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
He's no joke. And I was reading about his bio, about how he had gone out to play professional football. He played football in college. And he didn't make it on a professional level, not like far on the professional level. He made it to semi-pro football.
Sure.
But he did, when he did actually try out for the Miami Dolphins, the coach, Hank Stram, told him, hey, you're not a football player. You're a man that's playing football.
Interesting.
You know? And I was like, you know, that's right, because he's not a football player despite his stature. He's an actor. He's a phenomenal actor, and he was a phenomenal actor from the beginning all the way to the end, and he will be sorely missed. I've actually missed him for the last few years, because they talked about doing, like, there've been some West Wing reunions and things of that nature, and he was never able to be a part of it for one reason or the other.
Well, you know, it's he would pop up here and there, like two pop-ups that I remember. You know, I've mentioned a few times that during COVID, I went on a Love Boat rewatch.
Yes.
He's on a pretty memorable moment on Love Boat, and to your point, he plays an ex-football player, but it being the Love Boat, they're wearing tuxedos and evening gown, and the man was wearing a tuxedo, much like he's wearing a suit in the aforementioned Let's Do It Again, and looks like a gangster.
Yeah.
And he's super believable. Another moment I think of, and I always think about this because in the scene, it's just him and Bill Cosby, where there's an episode of The Cosby Show where he plays Cliff's physician. And he's telling Cliff, you know, you have to be healthier and you know, kind of change your diet. But what I always remember about the moment is that on The Cosby Show, starring Bill Cosby, and this is like the third or fourth year, so like you're right in the pocket. In a set that's not that big, he's holding his own.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so it's like the two of them, and you realize that this is someone, as you just said, you miss seeing. Like, I wish John Amos was around more.
Yeah.
So.
You get the idea that he probably is like one of those guys that they like to call an actor's actor.
An actor's actor, and I get the sense he wasn't pressed. Like I'm going to take a project if I want to take a project, but you know, you get the sense he kind of enjoyed being a family man, enjoyed his life, and I'll do this if something tickles my fancy.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he was someone that just had to be.
No, because he was doing his thing. I
Right.
see even in the comments, Ron Covington's mentioning that he did his one-man show, Haley's Comet, for a number of years.
Yeah,
so he was his own man. He's like, yo, I'll be good right over here.
Definitely be missed, and they very rarely make actors like him anymore.
Nah, very true. Very true.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so John Amos, rest in peace. Our condolences to his family and loved ones. It is now time for us to hear from you, missionaries. That means your emails, or as we like to call them,
Missives from the Missionaries. So what else is going on, Lynn?
we have emails, Vincent.
Ooh, missives from the missionaries. Missives from the missionaries.
Missives from the missionaries. Vincent, we have an email from Corey. In Vogue and Boys to Men is the subject line.
Okay, hey Corey.
Good morning, Len, Vincent, and missionaries, and happy early Bootober.
Oh, well, thank you.
I almost had the urge to call Len, Lenny, or Leonard.
Oh.
It's not his real name. I know. Actually, it is. At the time of this writing, I am jumping back and forth to the jazz and soulful Diana Reeves, and of course, my favorite forever, the incomparable Phyllis Hyman.
All right.
On this cloudy Monday.
Okay, all right.
I really enjoyed the conversation about the Black movie years. It's safe to say that 1992 may be my favorite Black movie year thus far. I mean, you have Boomerang, Juice, Malcolm X, Deep Cover, and, okay, Mo Money. A stacked year for sure. The 1994 lineup, I wished it was Crooklyn instead of Drop Squad, but yes, that should be a new segment. Well, we'll see about that, Corey. Do you guys ever think about how Boys to Men and In Vogue have similar career trajectories?
Interesting.
Think about it. Both groups didn't really have a lead singer. Both groups could sing. They brought back harmonizing like the groups from the 60s and 70s, and they were big during the 90s. In Vogue, especially from commercials to singing theme songs on Black television like Hanging with Mr. Cooper and the last 2 seasons of Rock. That was a random thought that came to mind, but happy early spooky season to the Micheaux men.
Okay.
Corey.
Hey, Corey. All right. What'd you think about that, Lynn? Boys and Men, In Vogue. Ever think about similarities?
I mean, okay, they were both of their time. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not you could say they had the same career. I mean, I guess if you want to look at it in that they were 4 and then they ended 3.
Yeah.
I guess you could say that. But In Vogue, I was going to say they kind of like fell apart for different circumstances. But from what I've heard, the circumstances actually may have been similar, closer to the same from some documentary I read, but I don't trust the source.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, they had the same time. They were of their time.
Right. I mean, it is a different dynamic. I think.
Yeah.
I think the Boys to Men members knew each other.
That's true, because In Vogue was more of
Right. In Vogue was
together.
actually a creation.
Yeah.
You know, I believe all 4 of them basically answered an ad, and then became. I forget the production group that was behind In Vogue. Like, I was always impressed that In Vogue held it together, as long as they did.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because that was a real shaky foundation. So
yeah, that's a good point.
But
are you an In Vogue fan? Ooh, did I trigger something? Ooh,
look.
Ooh.
I'm very much of my time. I was obsessed with In Vogue when the video was on.
Okay.
Like the first video,
Giving them something I can.
No. Well, even giving them something. Even that video was amazing. But by then they were like In Vogue. I'm talking about Hold On.
Oh, Hold On. Yes, right.
Like them in them little black dresses. Yeah, I had never. Like I actually took my breath away first time I saw that video, and then their video presence was something. But if I'm being brutally honest, like if a song comes on, they're all right.
Really
good radio fodder. But like I'm sure I bought that first cassette, but
so they're not your top 5 girl groups.
Probably not.
Okay.
Are you an En Vogue fan?
I'm a fan. I'm a fan of theirs. I'm saying I don't know if they would be in my top 5.
Right.
I've never put together.
I always just felt like, not to cut you off, for women who sang as well as they did, the music was really overproduced.
But yeah,
and really kind of slick, and I know they
never were given a chance.
Right,
to just like
right, and I know that was of the moment, but yeah, it was just really, really slick.
Yeah, now that is one thing I've never saw them perform live.
Yeah, me either.
So I'm curious of whether or not the live show is where you actually felt them.
Right,
you know what I mean.
Right.
So just like saying that, I'm thinking like, yeah, the videos, it sold me, and like, they're good looking women, and they could sing.
And they could sing.
They definitely could sing.
Right, they could sing.
But I really do need to see you live to really like feel like your presence.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I was never a huge SWV fan, but I saw them perform. And they won me over.
Now, see, I am a SWV fan.
No, and I became one.
No. I mean, I like that album. Like the Sisters with Voices album. Like of that kind of post En Vogue TLC cohort. SWV is my favorite group.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I'm there too.
Like when you said En Vogue is not in my top 5 groups, SWV is. And they're not bringing up the rear.
Oh, yeah. No.
Yeah, so... And Boyz II Men, as a Philadelphia native, are you contractually bound to
like Boyz
to ride for Boyz II Men?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes. But I am unabashedly a Boyz II Men fan.
Okay.
I've enjoyed a lot of their music. I enjoyed their production. I've seen them live at least twice, maybe 3 times. I've enjoyed it every time that I've seen them.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm a Boyz II Men fan.
All right. I'm kind of the same way with them that I am with En Vogue. Like I think I think they can sing, but the production and the songs and and I've mentioned this before in Motown Philly, where the brother with the deep voice says, and you go in all the Philly cheesesteaks you can eat.
Yeah.
It has always confused me because how many cheesesteaks are you eating? Like he says, in all the Philly cheesesteaks you can eat. Like
there are people
like how many are you eating exactly?
Well, I've seen some people.
Like do you get punked at Max's like I get punked?
No.
Like you go to Max's and they say you want a whole or a half, and then you bought the whole that one time, and they gave you that log of cheesesteak, and then
you should know better than that.
Well, I mean, look, I want a whole or a half. I figure I'm an adult. I want a whole one. And then they say, "You sure you want a whole one?" It's like, why are you talking to me like I'm a little boy? Of course I want a whole one. And then they give you that log.
Give you a whole.
Give you that log of cheesesteak.
Yes.
Then the next time you come back, they say you want a whole or a half, and you just have to. I'll take a half.
I'll take a half. You sure? You got a whole one last time.
Right. So when Michael's in all the cheesesteaks you can eat, he's like, damn, like, how many cheesesteaks are you eating exactly? Like, I feel like people who get cheesesteaks and fries are sociopaths.
First of all, some people can put away cheesesteaks. Second of all,
yeah, watch that.
Second of all, while I don't think he meant this,
okay.
If you came to Philly and you only know cheesesteaks from the tourist joints, meaning South Philly,
sure,
you can eat 2 of them small bad boys.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So there you go.
Well, why would you? Because they taste like garbage.
Okay, but that's people don't know.
They don't know that.
They don't know. That song was for the masses.
You know, sometimes I feel like Philadelphia is hostile and does that on purpose. Like I feel like y'all funnel people down to Geno's. Because, like, you're keeping the good stuff for yourselves.
Well, I will say this.
Like you go to Geno's and there are no Pennsylvania tags down there at all.
See, I will say this. We may not funnel people down to Geno's, but we'll funnel you. We'll funnel you down South Philly. We'll let you go to Delisandro's. We keep it Max's.
Keep it Max's.
We keep it Max's.
Keep it Max's. Yeah.
That's why Max's. You don't see it like there ain't a tourist line outside of Max's.
Right. No. You go to Max's, you get a pair of socks.
You get socks.
Buy a lizard.
Look, man. Look, Max's might as well just say Walmart underneath it, man.
Right.
Max's, especially back in the day of the bootlegs. Woo!
But a lot of respect for Boyz II Men. Let me be clear. A lot of respect for Boyz II Men.
It didn't sound like it, but okay. Let's move on.
All right.
We got another email. This one is from Michael Lockett.
Hey, what's up, Michael?
What's up, Len and Vincent? Both the present episode to end Doc to School month, Tell Them We Are Rising, and my time travel landing spot, Sorry to Bother You, were both amazing forms of edutainment, to quote one of my favorites, KRS-One. Mm-hmm. Tell Them We Are Rising, which we reviewed last week, was touching and really gave me more insight into a world I thought I really knew well. My dad worked for 3 HBCUs, Lincoln, Winston-Salem State, and Virginia State.
Nice.
I was around this world all the time, and this film shed so much light on its origins and the fight to get it to what may be a golden-ish age. I love learning, and to me, that one idea is at the heart of this film. If it wasn't important, they would not have tried and would continue to try to stop us. Sorry to Bother You may be one of the greatest filmmaking debuts of the last 50 years. Fight me. Mm-hmm. No, don't fight me. I'm about peace and love. But I do stand 10 toes down on that statement. Boots Riley made an unforgettable, quotable, stylish film right out of the gate. Every watching gives me another key to his filmmaking ciphers, which is broad, his Easter eggs to extend knowledge to and about our culture. Indeed, Sorry to Bother You is a very strong debut.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was the letter over?
No, he has 2 questions. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, did you watch But I'm a Virgo?
I started it. I didn't finish it.
I haven't finished it either. I got distracted, but I watched, I think, the first 2 episodes, and I think
I watched the first episode. Yeah. Right in that same pocket.
I'm like, thank you, Michael, for writing, because it just reminded me. Let me circle back around.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 quick questions from Michael.
Okay.
Question 1: did you guys do an episode where you switch roles, and I simply haven't gotten to it? No, Michael.
No, we've not.
We've not. And Vincent has stated that will never happen.
As some of the greatest poets of our time put it, Radiohead, everything in its right place.
Question 2. I know Vince thinks Spike is 100% in the conversation for the greatest first 5 films of anyone, but
yeah, I do.
Who would you 2 put on a list of the greatest directorial debuts?
Ooh.
Does Boots make the cut? All the best, Michael Lockett.
Ooh, it's a lot of people that come out the gate. Nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. I'm Boots Riley. I was going to say Ava DuVernay.
Barry Jenkins.
Barry Jenkins. Yeah. I mean, right there.
Misha Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we both love long. I just forgot the cowboy movie's name.
Oh my God!
But we both love that.
Oh, shoot! I got to look it up. Now you got me in my feels because I can't bring it.
Cassie Lemons.
Cassie Lemons made a very strong debut. Yeah, Cassie Lemons.
Tonight's featured director, Jordan Peele.
Misha Green has actually only done one film. The Mother.
No, not Misha Green.
You're not thinking of Misha Green.
I'm thinking of
I was just talking about our movie.
We just did her movie. We just did The Marvels.
Yeah. You're thinking about. Now I gotta look up because she did. Brother, I hate this. Hold up. I see. I'm not looking at the chat. I know. I'm not looking at the chat. I don't want to. I don't want to see. Don't at me. I don't want to. Be quiet. It is. Where's it? Nia DaCosta. Yeah. Because she did Candyman. That's what.
And she did Candyman.
But her first film was Little Woods. That's what it was. When you said long, yeah.
I'm saying the long trees.
Yeah.
Little Woods.
Yeah. What was I feel like she's done a film. What was Lena Waithe's first film? I feel like that was a good one. I'm like all in. Well, maybe I'm thinking about this.
I don't think Lena Waithe has made a film, has she?
I thought she did. Oh, she wrote Queen and Slim. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah, because she hasn't directed one.
Yeah, a lot of good debuts.
So
now, a better question, and we're not going to do this tonight, but one to think about. Who has a great second film? Like, who are the people with the great second film?
Barry Jenkins.
We're not going to do it because that's. But you see what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay.
Julie, first films, Julie Dash.
Oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Well, that was. Thank you, Michael, for that email. We have one more that I selected for our talking to. We're talking about this night. I am all over the place. And nope, we don't have another one. That was it. Okay. So.
Okay. All right.
Moving on. It is now time for the top five.
Top five. Who's your top five? My top five is.
Top five, where I give Vincent a list and he lends his scintillating commentary to it for our entertainment. And tonight, we're going to be practicing a little bit more of that edutainment here in Bootober. Keeping in theme, Vincent, we're going to be reviewing Us from Jordan Peele.
We are.
A film that not only features black people as the protagonists in this film, black people also are the antagonists in this film. So I wanted to look at other films, look at top five films where black people are the antagonists in the film. But that led me down a little bit of a rabbit hole where there's, been more than a few films where the villain of a movie or the bad guy of the movie has been a black person.
Sure.
And there are, of course, historically, tons of films where black people, and more specifically, African people, are seen as are propped up to be like the big bad, like the big evil to beware of, right? As some like like you stay away, or you will be ruined.
Right. Deepest, darkest Africa.
Right. There are tons of films about that. So it was like, how do I now narrow this down to just five? Right. How do I make this selection? Well, I landed in a very unique spot because I couldn't come up with five, so I landed on one.
Okay.
And I landed on this one because regardless of how I looked at other films and other iterations where black people have been have been like made to be the bad person in these movies. I could not find any situation that was more egregious than this.
Okay. All right.
And this goes back to 1915
Okay.
with Birth of a Nation.
Of course.
Which is 100 and going on 110 years old.
Absolutely.
Film from D.W. Griffith.
Yes, right.
That purports to show the how the Ku Klux Klan would rise up.
Right. Well, yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Rise
go
up
ahead.
to save America.
That's right.
From the wickedness and the evil of black people.
Yeah.
In this country, in the wake of I think the assassination of Abraham Lincoln is
well black people get into positions of power. It's almost like an alt history. Right.
It's almost a little bit of like speculative fiction,
right?
As it were.
Yep.
Birth of a Nation, which was originally called The Klansman.
That's right.
A landmark film that chronicles the assassination of Abraham Lincoln by John Wilkes Booth and the relationship of two families in the Civil War and Reconstruction eras over several years, the pro-Union Stonemans and the pro-Confederacy Camerons. The film was controversial even before its release, and it's remained so ever since, as it has been called the equally the most controversial film ever made in the United States and the most reprehensibly racist film in Hollywood history. It's been denounced for its racist depiction of African Americans. Mind you, these are not African Americans in this film.
Right.
These are white people in blackface.
Blackface, yeah.
The film portrays its black characters as unintelligent and sexually aggressive towards white women. Thus, the Ku Klux Klan are portrayed as a heroic force necessary to preserve American values, protect white women, and maintain white supremacy.
Yes.
And another reason why I wanted to land on this was because at 110 years old, the fact that this was made even in 1915, which is after slavery.
Oh yeah.
Which is, we need to be reminded that this happened, because what happened in this movie, what is depicted in this film, is literally what is happening on the streets of America today. And if certain people get their way come November 5th, it will be what is happening on the streets legally the very next day. And we need to be reminded of that.
Yeah. Look. It's actually really appropriate that we're talking about it, because when you look at the history of black film criticism, there were oh my goodness, I wish I had a hotline to my house. It's sitting right on my shelf. It's a book I read last year about the history of black film criticism. And there were certainly black film critics before 1915. But the real moment where black film criticism exploded was around this film, where all across the country, critics in the Negro press talked about how dangerous this film was. W.E.B. Du Bois wrote about it extensively, and how when you think about stereotype, it really presented this unified image of stereotype, because before then, obviously it was racism, obviously it was bigotry, but it was almost like localized.
Yes. Yeah.
And the thing about this film, and this is still in the early moments of film, like if you take film classes, you look at film history, people talk about all of the technical innovations
Yes.
that come from this film, which what I always think about is just where film was at and where it wasn't. For this to be, you have these long sequences, their lighting techniques at WD,
Music being used,
which shows you how powerful this was because there was nothing else around it. And the last time we talked about this film on here was in reference to what a lot of people see as a direct response to it.
Yeah.
Which is Oscar Micheaux's Within Our Gates.
Yeah.
And you're right. I think this is always a cautionary tale of the power of film as propaganda. And the power of these images. And as much as you want to say this is just entertainment, this is just something that people do as relaxation, these images have heft and weight.
That's right.
And yeah, I don't think there's ever been a more powerful image demonizing blackness since this film. Also worth saying, it was shown at the White House.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Woodrow Wilson, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, Woodrow Wilson, that son of a bitch. Yeah, Woodrow Wilson showed this at the White House.
Yeah, yeah.
He needed to relax after a long day of decimating the nascent black middle class in D.C.
You were talking about how, that you use the word localize, right? And I was reading in here how the film was actually denied release in Chicago, Ohio, Denver, Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Minneapolis, to name just a few of the cities. But you're right. There were pockets where it was celebrated. It was all over the place. Like, it was big news. This was a huge success.
It was a huge success.
Right? And you made me think about how right now the move is to move all, whatever rights we have, they're going to be determined by the states, reproductive rights by the states.
Yeah.
And it's all just a way of just chopping at the rights that we have so that, there can be like these little fiefdoms and then they will amass together. It's man,
also worth
pisses you to
pointing out that the Ku Klux Klan was dying out before this film came out, and this sparked a resurgence of the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
That really carried on until the 40s, when to bring it back to our other nerddom, they talk about on the radio show. On his radio show, Superman fought the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, and that really kind of crippled them in the public eye.
In the public eye, because they didn't go away.
Well, but I do think it is important.
But you're right.
Like there is this moment where the Ku Klux Klan was seen almost like the Masons.
Yes. They could operate
or
in
the Knights of Columbus.
They could operate in the daylight.
They would march in the daylight. They would do all of this stuff, and then after this radio show, and I always forget this man's name who infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and then released a report about him. At least it turned into something that you had to be ashamed of, which, as you said, didn't necessarily change the membership, but it changed the dynamic of how people operated within the Ku Klux Klan. Yeah. So, but Birth of a Nation. Birth of a Nation.
All right. And trust me, that's enough for fun. 1 through 5.
That's the whole 5
that's
right
it.
there. Right
that's
there.
It. All right.
All right.
All right. Now it's time for the Game of Kings.
All right.
What's up, Michael D? Michael D? You came just in time.
Hey, speaking of black film history.
It's time for 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin. 6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where Vincent has 6 films or less to connect an actor of my choice to D'Urville Martin, that superhero of the 70s who fought the KKK, the man, and anything that came in his way.
Not to stop you, but I think it's worth saying his name out loud. Stetson Kennedy. Thank you, Robert Monroe. Stetson Kennedy infiltrated the Ku Klux Klan and then had this expose about him. Please continue.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right. Keeping it in theme, Vincent.
All right.
We are going to be reviewing Us from 2019 tonight.
We are.
Which stars one Lupita Nyong'o.
Yes, it does.
Winston Duke.
Yes, it does.
And Elisabeth Moss.
Yes, it does. You're going to keep leaving Tim Heidecker out.
Yes.
All right.
Because you would expect me to pull Tim Heidecker.
Right.
But I didn't pull Tim Heidecker.
Okay. All right.
In 6 films or less. Mm-hmm. Connect. D'Urville Martin. 2. Anna Diop.
Anna Diop.
And you can't use Us.
No. See, the thing about Anna Diop, what has she been in besides the Titans?
She has been
in this. Like, this is my film I go to with her in film. I don't know what other film she's been in. Like, film.
I heard you.
What was she in?
No. She was in, from 2016, she was in Message from the King.
I don't even know what that is.
That is a revenge action thriller directed by Fabrice Duels.
Is this an American film?
It is, in fact, an American film. Yes.
I've never heard of this film.
Apparently so.
Yeah. I don't know about this film.
Okay. All right. She was in there with a couple of major stars, but all right, we'll go to the next one. She was also in The Keeping Hours, a supernatural horror drama.
So say this isn't even a real film, is it?
No, it is in fact a real film.
Yeah.
It is an American film.
Yeah.
She was in it.
These
with stars.
Who are the stars, Lynn?
In this one?
I'm not going to use the stars, but who are the stars?
In this one or in the last one?
Pick this. You pick your stars.
You know what? I'm going to give you the stars. I'm going to give you the stars that she's in with Message from the King.
Okay, who are these stars?
You can't use any of these stars.
Show me the stars.
All right. Message from the King stars Chadwick Boseman, Luke Evans, Teresa Palmer, Alfred Molina. Yeah, all right.
When did Chadwick Boseman make this?
He made it in 2016 with Anna Diop.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
You need more?
Yeah.
She was also in from 2022, Nanny.
Oh, she sure was. I actually wanted to see Nanny. I don't remember anybody in Nanny because is she the star of Nanny?
She is the star of Nanny.
She's the star of Nanny. Yeah. I don't know.
Slick with your mouth.
Yeah, I don't know who else was in Nanny though.
Stop looking at the chat.
I'm not leaving. No. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want me to give you the stars of who else? Well, she is the star.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know that was her vehicle.
She was in there. Okay, this may help you, but it's a little obscure name.
Yeah.
Michelle Monaghan. Or Monaghan. I think Monaghan is how you. Oh, you would know her if you saw her.
Show me her picture. Are you serious?
You don't know her? I thought you would know her.
They just showed me a stock photo of a white woman.
It's not a stock photo of a white woman. I thought you would know her.
I thought that was an ad for K's. Every kiss begins with K's. What was that?
I thought you would know her. She's been in films that you like.
Sure.
She has been.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you need another film?
Yeah,
you need another Anna Diop?
Right. It's, you know.
Okay. All right. She also is in The Book of Clarence.
Okay. All right. Did you see the Book of Clarence?
I haven't seen it yet.
I've heard different things.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister tells me I should see it.
Really?
Yeah. But I don't know whether or not she's saying I should see it because she wants to talk about it.
Sure.
Or I should see it because she liked it.
Sure.
She refuses to say.
Sure. All right. Well, sure. Let's keep it in theme then.
Okay.
Because Derville Martin is in I don't want to do this. Oh, we'll go like this. Derville Martin is in the final come down with oh no, I'll go this way. Derville Martin is of course involved on the black hand side with Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington is in Malcolm X with Delroy Lindo. Mm-hmm. And Delroy Lindo is in The Harder They Fall with Lakeith Stanfield.
There you go.
Who is in the Book of Clarence.
Very good.
With Anna, no. Yeah, with Anna Diop.
Anna Diop.
Yeah.
Very good. Speaking of Delroy Lindo, you saw your show hasn't been it's been canceled. Unforgiven.
I
The one with
Unprisoned.
Unprisoned. Excuse me. With him and
You know what? I'm glad we got 2 seasons. I didn't think we were going to get 2 seasons. So, and it ended well.
Okay, so it didn't end on like a cliffhanger.
No, it didn't. Not really.
Okay,
not really. Like it was one of those. This character that we've alluded to just rang the doorbell, and then like she opened up. It's character that we've alluded to, and then it's like, ooh, I wonder who they're going to cast in that role.
Oh,
but no, it ended fine.
All right.
All right.
Next, we have keeping in theme and 6 films or less.
6 films or less.
Connect Derville Martin
to
this other star from Us. And you can't use Us.
Can't use Us.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen III.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen. Well, the more interesting. Let's. I'm going to get to him. Interesting. I'll get to him interesting. So Derville Martin is in, because I want to get to him interesting. It's a lot of paths to him. I want to get to him interesting, though. Okay, I'll do this. Derville Martin is in I just lost my link. I'll do the same way. Denzel Washington, Dick Anthony Williams, Denzel Washington, Delroy Lindo. Delroy Lindo is in Clockers with oh my God, I just lost him. It's his first film in Clockers. The brother, bald-headed.
Mekhi
Phifer. With Mekhi Phifer. Mekhi Phifer is in Soul Food with Michael Beach. And then Michael Beach is in Aquaman.
There you go.
With Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Very good. Very good, Vincent.
I was going to use Cinda Williams in One False Move to get to Michael Beach, but we've gone that way before.
Yeah.
So I wanted to.
I just watched One False Move again.
How you like that? Oh, that's a good time.
That was a good time.
That's a good time right there.
It's actually, they were on TCM. Mm-hmm. They were interviewing Carl Franklin.
Nice.
So they showed One False Move and Devil in the Blue Dress.
Nice.
That was
That's
nice
a good time right there.
Double had a good time there.
Yeah.
Night, man. Yes, me, my tea, and my chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah, that's a good time.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. 6
There you
degrees of
go.
Durham
6
Martin.
degrees
Well
of
done, Vincent. Before we get into our review, a couple of things, short notes. We definitely marked the passing of John Amos, rightfully so here on the mission. But I would be remiss myself if I did not also mark the passing of one Dame Maggie Smith.
Sure.
Who passed away earlier this week as well. A huge star of film and television. But she's been around so long that so many people probably grew up with her as an old person, an older actress, in the Harry Potter films. But she had a phenomenal career before as a younger actress in American and British films. And there's a whole nother segment of the population who more recently fell in love with her on Downton Abbey, which I am actually in the midst of a rewatch in commemoration for Dame Maggie Smith.
Absolutely.
So
And you also got to shout out Sister Act.
Yes, because she's found her way to the mission on Sister Act.
Yeah.
One of the seminal films of the Micheaux missions.
Yeah.
So rest in peace, Maggie.
Yeah.
Maggie Smith. You're a fan of Maggie Smith. I
Look,
know
man.
you joke.
Look,
But
I'm not joking at all.
I mean, you know,
Yeah.
you joke about British stuff.
Yeah. I joke. To be clear, I don't joke Maggie Smith. I joke you.
Yes.
In your old white lady fare. The jokes are 100% directed toward you.
That is very true.
But yeah, I like Maggie Smith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we definitely will miss
Yeah, it was always good to see her show up.
Yeah.
So
we also, I mean, it's a shame, but it keeps happening, people. We also had another person that we lost fairly recently, and this is someone who we just saw, John Ashton, who played Taggart on Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah.
Not just a few months later, he just recently passed
Yeah.
as well. And look, we all could see in Beverly Hills Cop 4,
Just about.
he was definitely a man who,
Like you could tell he really just wanted to be a part of this project because
and they wanted him.
and they wanted him, but yeah, you could tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, rest in peace, John
Yeah.
Ashton. Our condolences to his
I'm
family.
glad he was able to do
Yeah.
Beverly Hills.
And we were able to take one more
Right.
look at him
Right.
in the role that really he's most famous for.
Sure. And you get the sense that the three of them, Judd Hirsch and Eddie Murphy, like the three of them actually liked each other.
Yeah.
So
It's very interesting, especially with him passing so soon after the film. You almost now forgive that he is in a lot of that film. Judge Reinhold, he gets
Judge Reinhold, I said Judd Hirsch, yeah.
Judge Reinhold, he kind of gets sidelined for a lot of the movie.
Right, and you would think
It would be the other way around.
I was thinking the same thing when I watched it.
Yeah, but now you wonder whether or not that was maybe a little bit more calculated. Like, let's give him the last hurrah.
There you go.
Because so
Yeah.
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
One
more question, and this is totally self-serving.
Okay.
When you order Chinese food,
Okay, sure.
first of all, do you eat Chinese?
I do. I enjoy it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
when you order Chinese food,
Sure, when I enjoy it.
what do you order?
What do I order?
What's your personal order?
My personal.
Like, what do you usually eat?
I usually.
Yeah.
I like cashew chicken. I like kung pao chicken.
Okay.
You know.
You have a favorite? Like, you have a usual go-to?
like chicken fried rice or
Okay.
chicken lo mein or
Okay.
if I'm really
you do-
like if I'm feeling like if I'm feeling bad, I'm getting older, I can't. But I'll get some chicken egg foo young and add broccoli because that'll make it healthy. It's like the worst thing. It's like the worst thing ever. But it's so
egg foo
tasty.
young,
Yeah.
not the broccoli. Broccoli is healthy.
Well, right. Yes. Broccoli is healthy.
Yes.
But if they scramble 4 eggs and pour gravy on top of it, Like, I'm pretty sure chicken egg foo young is like shrimp toast. Like they invented it to kill black people. Like, I don't know if I can go to Hong Kong and get shrimp toast.
Right.
And 5 chicken wings fried hard.
Right.
But why are we... You're the strangest man. Why are we talking about this?
Because I'm thinking on my way home,
Get you some...
I'm going to get some Chinese food.
Get some Chinese food?
And I was wondering, like...
Look, lo mein, you can't go wrong with lo mein.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. So maybe get some.
All right,
See, my order is usually made fun.
Okay.
I like some, and usually I get Singapore made fun because then it's like basically a house special and it's a little spicy.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking about getting.
All right.
But I wanted to know maybe you had an alternative
selection.
Maybe you offered something that I'm like, I might think I'll get that.
No, I'm pretty straight ahead.
You're straight
ahead, like he's just regular. And then, like I said, I do have the wing of urban Chinese food that I like. Like I get some chicken egg foo young or some shrimp toast. And
mind you, I'm only doing this because there's no real good Thai restaurant around
5 wings.
Because I like Thai.
Oh, I think there's a nice Thai spot in
not near me.
Oh, not near you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Near me. Yeah, I know a couple of nice
there are a few nice spots.
We have select Thai spots here.
Sure.
But not near me.
Yeah, that's my, I usually go Thai.
Yeah, I'm a Thai.
Yeah,
I'm a Thai
all right.
guy.
All right.
We're a Thai family.
We're a Thai family, sure. What was that about? You just wanted to keep it
lean.
Keep it lean.
We're moving.
Who was that emailed us? Do I play your role and you play my role sometimes?
Yes.
Here you go, folks.
Here we go.
It's happening right now.
Well,
right.
watch it. Oh yeah. So now it's time for us to review Us. Us, a 2019 psychological horror film written and directed by Jordan Peele and starring an ensemble cast that includes Lupita Nyong'o, Winston Duke, Shahadi Wright Joseph, Evan Alex, Elisabeth Moss, and Tim Heidecker. The story follows Adelaide Wilson and her family, who are attacked by a group of menacing doppelgangers called the Tethered. This film premiered in 2019 and was a critical and commercial success, grossing $256 million worldwide against a budget of only $20 million. And Jordan Peele's sophomore effort as a director, it received praise for Peele's screenplay, direction, Lupita Nyong'o's performance, and Michael Abel's score. And since then, it has been cited as one of the best horror films of the 21st century. Vincent, what say of your selection for tonight's stop in Bootober of Us?
Well, before we start, part of the reason that I've waited so long to talk about this movie is because I do believe this is a film that it's best you kind of go in cold and see it and wanted to wait a long time so people have had an opportunity to see it. If you are listening to this review and you still have not seen the film, I'm going to speak for Lynn and say regardless of how much we do or do not enjoy the film, I think both of us will land on you need to go watch it.
Yes.
So if you're waiting to hear, are we going to say you need to go watch it? Go watch it. Come back. From this point forward, I will be speaking as if you have seen the film.
Yes. So spoilers ahead.
Spoilers ahead. Having said that, I think that since Get Out, every film that addresses social issues, every horror film that has addressed social issues, whether it has been made by Black people or anyone, like any sort of film, Get Out has been the framework in which that is discussed within. And certainly as Jordan Peele's second film, the shadow of Get Out
It's huge.
looms large. And the thing about Get Out is, in a lot of ways, it's this very elegant film. Like, it's got this very straightforward narrative of body horror and people stealing your body. And just before you get to the social concerns, I think it is this really tight film, just as the filming. And then when you bring in the social aspect and commentary, that also works in this very strong way. And then you land on what has become a classic already.
Exactly.
Get Out. I think, much like Get Out, you end up looking at us through both of these lenses. As you said, this is a film about a family who ends up being terrorized by some doppelgangers, so that all four of the principals are playing two roles, and the roles, the role of the antagonist, the role of the monsters, are the tethered, and they are monstrous. And as just doppelganger, I don't know if doppelganger horror is a genre in and of itself, but you think about a film like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and this is certainly in that tradition, of the monster is me,
Right.
and I am the monster.
But Doppelganger gets you to like twin films.
Twin films, right. And it is effective. It is very effective at you basically have 8 doppelgangers that are focused on in this film. While certainly there is the family of Gabe and Adelaide, who are the black family at the center, you also spend a pretty significant time with their neighbors, which is a white family played by Elisabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker, and then their daughters.
Yeah.
And again, just
They're twin daughters.
they're twin daughters. So now, at one point, the daughter Zora says there are too many twins. So just on that level, it is effective. I think in a lot of ways, talking about filmmakers reminding you of each other and filmmakers, there is something about Jordan Peele's filmmaking that reminds me of Spike Lee's filmmaking in this fashion, where you can take discrete scenes and just pull it out of the movie. And there's enough information there that it almost plays like a miniature little narrative in and of itself. So I'm thinking about there's a moment where Adelaide, played by Lupita Nyong'o, and Gabe, played by Winston Duke, and their family, they go to the beach and meet Elisabeth Moss and Tim Heidecker's family, and they're on the beach, and it plays like a little movie where Adelaide is trying to figure out who's there. The moment when the tethered family actually invades the house where Gabe and Adelaide and their families is a masterful 5-minute moment where even today, where I think this is at least my 4th time, because you and I have watched, this is our 3rd time me and you have watched it.
Yeah.
This is maybe my 5th time watching it. From the moment that the tethered appear at the top of the driveway to the moment where Gabe's doppelganger pulls him out of the house, I was on the edge of my seat. It is so tight and so well made. Moments between the various doppelgangers fighting each other, all done really well. There's a sequence in Tim Heidecker's and Elisabeth Moss's character's house,
Yes,
where the main family go in. That, again, this is a film that establishes that Jordan Peele is a great filmmaker, just filmmaking. And from beginning to end, I think this is a film that you can enjoy without social commentary.
You can just enjoy on a superficial
horror
film
level. And then there is the social part of it, where the tethered very much are representative of the underclass. They're representative of sort of disenfranchised folks. And much like we talked about with when the levees broke, it hit different after COVID for me. Like there was that whole period during COVID where it's like the most bitter of ironies, where we call people essential workers. And for a lot of it, if you unpacked it enough, what we were really saying is we need you people to do what you do to keep my life convenient.
Right.
And we treat people as disposable. We treat people as this sort of class that we get what we want from them, and then we forget about it. And on that level, I do have to say, I think it works. Like you know, there's an additional level once you bring race into it, which I'll get to. But just on the level of Gabe and Adelaide's family, Tim Heidecker and Elisabeth Moss's family kind of represent this very aspirational upper middle class group. And then their doppelgangers are literally under them, who have now risen up to try and take their place. Like it almost parallels what you saw in like the film Parasite. It's not as elegant as Get Out, but it works. You know, there's a moment where the I think it's Gabe says to Red, who is
her doppelganger,
which is Lupita Nyong'o's doppelganger, you know, who are you people? And she says, we are Americans. And it's like, all right, that's a little ham-fisted. That's a little little on the nose. But okay, I'll allow it. But it works. You know, it does work. The performances, I have to say, the performances went from I wasn't surprised at all to that was a pleasant surprise to phenomenal. Elisabeth Moss is one of the real great actors of the 20th century.
21st century.
21st century, as far as I'm concerned. And while certainly her character, Dahlia, and Dahlia's doppelganger are effective roles and effective moments, I was not the least bit surprised that she smashed it.
Oh, of course.
It was like this is 100% what I expected from Elisabeth Moss. Along those lines, in a film with Angela Bassett, Lupita Nyong'o, Chadwick Boseman, and a bazillion dollars, Winston Duke almost stole Black Panther.
Yep.
So Winston Duke crushing this role as Gabe was also something I was not that surprised by. He does a fantastic job, but I just assumed he would have done a fantastic job.
Well, you know, where he is surprising in this is because this follows Black Panther, and because of the size of him. Yeah, you go into it maybe thinking this character that he's going to play, and you could see him crush it. But no, there's a whole nother layer. His character is totally against the type.
He's funny, which he was in Black Panther. He's sexy, which he was in Black Panther. As the doppelganger, he's menacing, which he was in Black Panther.
Well, when you said sexy, I don't know if he's necessarily supposed to come off as sexy.
You apparently have never spoken to a woman about Gabe in this film.
No. But I don't think I think you could look at him and see sexy, but I don't think he's trying to portray sexy. Right.
He just is. Yeah,
he just is.
Which, put a pin in that, because that goes to my reading once we start talking about race at some point. Tim Heidecker was a real surprise for me.
Yes.
Like I'm not, Tim Heidecker, I really only know him from that Adult Swim
that whole
Cartoon Network, like kind of 3 a.m. You kind of watch it and like, I think I'm supposed to be high when I watch this, like that whole kind of, but I have to say that kind of Tim and Eric world is always a little unsettling.
Yeah.
And I think Tim Heidecker nails this both times. Like when he plays the character who is the main version of himself, Josh. Josh is kind of funny frat boy, but there's something underneath there.
A little. Yeah.
Like there's some energy underneath there that's a little uncomfortable. And then his tethered opposite is unsettling, but then there's something a little funny underneath. So like he plays this wonderful mirror image of himself.
Yeah. Because I don't think he can. I think that's his speed.
Yeah. But he nails it. Yeah. Which is a testament to his performance and, Jordan Peele's direction.
And yeah.
The kids.
Oh my God.
The kids 201 are fantastic. Madison Curry plays Adelaide in the past. I don't think she has
a line.
She does not have a line. But as tethered Adelaide and Adelaide, and then tethered Adelaide, last chance, folks, who replaces Adelaide, she is phenomenal.
Yes,
like
she is.
Absolutely. And my one question is the same question that I've had since this movie came out. Why is this child not working more?
I know.
Evan Alex as Jason, the son, as someone with an 8-year-old who's at that kind of wonky 8-year-old speed, I love how he really encompasses this little boyness. This little boyness where it's kind of charming. It's kind of this, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing over there exactly? And I love him as this little boy.
You know what I also love about his performance here, and this is as much to his performance, but also the writing, is that he is a little boy. He is an 8-year-old little boy, but he is actually acting as an 8-year-old would in this situation.
Yeah.
He's not being smart aleckly. He's not smarter than everybody else. He's observant. He picks up on things and he's able to bring that to bear. But he is also still, following the adults, following my big sister.
Right.
It's right in line there.
He's smart.
But he's smart.
He's smart. And,
but he's not smart aleck.
He's not right. And we can talk about the references and the things the inspirations. But I always use Newt from Aliens.
Okay.
Which I think Aliens is on here. Like Newt is my ultimate kid character. And on a scale of 1 to Newt, I think Jason is Newt. Like I feel like Jason and Newt are acting the same way. Shahidi Wright Joseph as Zora is a little older. Also fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. And as this family who have to deal with this, they all have chemistry. They seem like a family. The performances, Lupita Nyong'o, this is my absolute favorite bar none performance by Lupita Nyong'o.
Wow.
Like Lupita Nyong'o as Adelaide and as Red.
/Red, yeah.
And once you realize that Adelaide,
what the deal
is the tethered Adelaide grown up who has switched out earlier, every time you watch it, you see that tethered
more and more
in the Adelaide throughout the film,
and it's there from the very beginning.
And then you also see the sadness in Red.
Yes,
and I land. I'll just stop here. I land. This is. I think I think the internal logic falls apart a little bit if you think about it longer than 3 minutes. But even with that, I love us.
I'm glad you touched on that, their internal logic, because that is one of the things that critics, point out about this film, right? And I think what that is because one, Get Out which was Jordan Peele's first film. We haven't officially said that's what it was, but Get Out was such an amazing film, such a blockbuster, and like you said, in this film, you could watch this on a superficial level and just enjoy an interesting psychological horror film, right? Get Out is a psychological horror film, but the race is really like it is what makes the movie. It is what the movie is about, right? So you can't escape the race in Get Out. In this one, I think, especially because it's a sophomore movie, people go into it expecting for the race component to be as much a focal point of the film as it was in Get Out. And while it's there, I think that honestly in this movie, Jordan Peele's first, his mission statement was to make a good horror movie, right? And in a good horror movie, the best horror movies, if you pick apart at some of the plot threads, it comes unraveling. But it's all about you being lost in the moment, lost in the craftsmanship, the writing, the acting, so that you say, I'm just going to watch and enjoy this horror movie, right? And then if you're lucky enough, there's something a little deeper that's hitting you, which is there in Us, where it talks about classism, where it talks about race, where and everything else there. If you're lucky, especially with Get Out, because there's not so much of a twist in Get Out. There's a little bit of a twist, but if you paying attention, you kind of see it coming, and it doesn't ruin the movie for you. You just realize, like, oh, they are the bad guys. I thought they were, and they're really bad, right? This movie, there's a twist that first time watching, you're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute, wait, and it makes you just relive everything that you saw. This is what this is you've always mentioned this about how the Sixth Sense is all about, everybody remembers the Sixth Sense because of the twist, but when you think about it, it's just really an okay movie. It's just this twist that got you. This movie, no, this is a good movie, and then the twist makes you want to go back and just like, wait a minute.
Right, like immediately watch it again.
Right, because you don't think he's playing fair with you. Like people point out about how Shyamalan maybe is not playing fair with people in Sixth Sense.
I am people.
Right. Jordan Peele, he's playing fair with you from day one. You just gotta pay attention.
Yup.
You got to pay attention. And if you pay attention and then you get to Lupita Nyong'o, because as you said that, I'm like, wow, her best performance. This probably is her best performance. And I love Lupita Nyong'o and almost everything I've seen her.
Of course.
But you're right. Because as fair as he's playing, it still is very underplayed that she is actually the tethered as Adelaide. So you would miss it. It comes out more and more as the movie goes along, but it's there at the very beginning, and just some subtle ticks, some subtle head nods, some subtle like inflections of how she speaks, rhythms that she can't quite
I was
catch.
about to say she snaps off rhythm.
Like you really start seeing it, right? All of that marries together to giving you what you go to the movies for, is just to have an experience. Yes, you want to take in a film, you want to take in a good movie, but you also want to have an experience. You want to have something that you're going to be talking about afterwards.
Yes.
Something that you not only wholeheartedly recommend to people, you want to go with people to watch it again because you want to see, did you get it? Did you catch it? Did you catch it? because I caught it. Oh, wait a minute, it's something else. You know,
Right.
like you want to be in on that scene. Like you said, this is like a fifth time watching this film. I'm sitting watching. I'm like, oh, still,
Yeah.
man. I mean, like it's just an amazing craftsmanship on record. And you talked earlier in the show about, you know, the question is, you know, what are some directors' best second films? You know, it's hard to top Get Out. I'm not saying Us tops Get Out. But it's going to be real hard for a lot of people's second films to top Us.
Yeah.
Us, it just really rewards upon rewatching.
Yeah, and speak, you know, just reward as you say. I think this is a film rewards you two ways. I think this sort of almost film nerdy way, or in film nerdy as in looking for the clues.
Yeah,
like you said, they really kind of set it like one of the references is that they are filming The Lost Boys.
Yes.
During the moment that this film is set. And The Lost Boys is, of course, about a town with this secret underneath it. So, of course, that's a reference. Adelaide's dad wins her a Thriller t-shirt. And as we all know from the Thriller video, the twist is at the end of the video
Yep.
where you realize he's the monster. And you have this kind of thing throughout where again, Jordan Peele as the filmmaker, as you said, is playing fair with you. At one point, after Adelaide has disappeared for 15 minutes and she switched out with tethered Adelaide, and then they take her to therapy because she's not talking, her mother, played by Anna Diop, says, I just want my little girl back. And tethered Adelaide looks very knowingly. So all throughout you have that. But, you know, I have to say, coming a week after a film dedicated to HBCUs and black colleges, what really kind of keeps me with this movie, you know, we talked about it's really this kind of commentary on capitalism and everything, and sort of this almost predatory capitalism, like in a lot of ways, Adelaide, our Adelaide, who we find out is the tethered, who has switched out with who becomes Red, is like the ultimate kind of cat, like you know, I went for self.
Yeah.
Like she pulled herself up by her bootstraps. And, you know, the problem with the way that we operate in this capitalist world is that oftentimes it is a zero-sum proposition. Like, for me to get mine, you got to lose yours.
I got to get L.
Right, exactly. And even by the end, when you realize that the Adelaide you've been cheering for the entire time is the tethered Adelaide, you are left with these complicated feelings where it's like, well, Red brought her family out, and Red basically sets it like Red, you know, the tethered Gabe takes Gabe out. Zora and her doppelganger, they race, like they actually race. The two little boys are face to face, and look, you got to earn your spot.
That's right.
And apparently, these are the four that earn their spots. And what's more American than that? So you have these very complicated feelings, but then you bring race into it. And this is a family that is very much coded as a black family. So what I always say is, what is this commentary on blackness and sort of what we've come to call black excellence? Like, what does this say about quote unquote black excellence, where you know, there was a lot of chatter about Gabe wearing the Howard sweatshirt.
Yeah.
And, you know, I read an interview with Jordan Peele and Winston Duke, where they said, kind of go, you assume everything in this film is there for a specific purpose.
Jordan says that.
But he talks about how he very specifically wanted to reference Howard University as this site of Black excellence. And, even something like the little girl's name is Zora, like it's the most Black middle class name ever. You name your little girl Zora. But what does it say that this Black family that we would look to as aspirational, this is the price that is paid? I always say the cheat code to Jordan Peele movies is he kind of he gives you the stakes. Pretty like, what are the stakes of this thing? And Get Out, Daniel Kaluuya, like that beautiful first scene is Daniel Kaluuya, and he's shot very stylized, and he's a good looking guy, and it's all of his photography because the character is a photographer, and you realize that the stakes are this man's life.
Right.
Like you understand how they want to take this man. Nope. They set it up with the prologue on the television show with the chimp that goes crazy. And that Nope is about the danger of spectacle and what happens when you try to control a wild animal. Like wild animals are actually aliens. And then that sets it all up. And I always say, like, this setup is, it starts with the Hands Across America commercial. And they never make it clear whether or not it is Adelaide or tethered Adelaide who's watching the commercial.
Right.
I've assumed that it's tethered Adelaide watching it, and this is her trying to learn and figure out how to operate now that she's above ground. But then it goes to this moment in the car. It's like this beautiful moment in the car with this Black family, and Winston Duke is kind of goofy dad, and Lupita Nyong'o is sort of angelic and beautiful, and she's asleep, and the kids are in the back, and it's almost like a sitcom.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this is the goal right here. Like this is who we want to be. And again, what do you do to get this? I have a friend who says that that's sort of the end goal of the Black middle class is to find a comfortable space within a system of white supremacy. And it's like, wow, that's like, but it's like you ain't trying to break. I'm just trying to find my space in this thing, this little pocket. And so much of this family is finding its own little pocket. Like, I love the fact that they are a unit. Like when they show Tim Heidecker and Elisabeth Moss's family, they are woefully unprepared for any of this. And they're taken out immediately by their doppelgangers, as opposed to Adelaide and Gabe, where, there's a moment where but then they figure it out.
They figure it out. Train. They got little codes, like, show them your tricks.
And as you said, how it plays differently once you know what's going on with Adelaide. There's a moment where Zora says she wants to quit running track because she, and then Gabe, her father says, yeah, but what about making the Olympics? And she said, well, I'll never make the Olympics. And Adelaide says, in the most aspirational Black mother way, oh, you can do anything you want. If you set your mind to it.
That's right.
Which many of us have heard a version of that. Look, you can do anything you want if you set your mind to it. But when you realize that the person saying that, what they've done,
that it only through the force of her own,
when she put her mind to it, it kind of like what is happening here. And for me, that is what stays with me as sort of the social commentary.
Yeah.
Like certainly I do think that just that generalized late stage predatory capitalism, again, like, I need to get my DoorDash, I need to get my Chipotle delivered, I need Amazon Prime, I need that, the lady to drive up in the driveway and drop that box off and keep it moving. And even though we're in the midst of a pandemic and people are literally risking their lives, my Blackula t-shirt that I bought off of TeePublic, because I'm sitting in here buying t-shirts, isn't going to get here by itself. So, chop, chop. And then I'll leave you five stars for you. Ding. I mean, is that not what we did?
That's exactly what.
Like, is that not what we did? Do you not have a pile of graphic novels and shit sitting in your house that you bought that you bought during the pandemic? And Amazon said it's coming today between 8 and 9, and people risk their lives so that we could eat and be entertained and do all these things. And then if you ask them, they say, "Well, who are you people?" And they would say, "Well, we are Americans." But then you also have this racialized part on top. And, I think that's what makes the film sustain.
Yes. That's what makes it why you can keep going back to this film. And I think that actually will give you said sustain, or give it, make it an instant classic. That you can replay this movie 10 years from now, because there's not a lot of cultural touchstones. There's not, first of all, there was praise given to the score. The music is absolutely spot on in this movie, and we're talking about the score, but also just the soundtrack. Like, I will never hear "Fuck the Police" by NWA the same way again because of this film. And I don't think I ever really even liked the song until I heard it in this song.
Look, talking about this sort of ongoing theme in this film of sort of the beautiful, but something menacing underneath it. Good Vibrations.
Yep.
Is
Beach Boys.
Beach Boys' Good Vibration. It's one of the songs that they release off of Pet Sounds, which is like his, this artsy album. But when you listen to Good Vibrations, like, it's kind of catchy, but then it's got that eeriness underneath it. Fuck the Police is super duper catchy, but the lyrics suck. And then me, like, when it ended with the Minnie Riperton, it was like, oh yeah, look, the costume design, immediately iconic.
Yep.
Like, immediately.
Yep.
That Halloween, people just put on the red.
And you still see them,
and it's
with the scissors.
You barely need the scissors.
Really, you don't.
Like, if you put on those red overalls, that is everything. Now, we can ease up with all the love. The internal consistency and the logic of it,
okay,
doesn't make a lick of sense.
No, it makes no sense.
Like, not a lick. Like, this whole sentiment of the people under the ground, and they forgot about them, and then they've been down there for generations, and they're eating a rat. And I was like, this doesn't seem...
Just in some, some tunnels that we made that we just forgot about.
I love the little placard at the beginning where Jordan Peele is acting like he dropping some jewels. There are subway lines and underground hangars, and no one knows what they're used for at all. I was like, oh, Jordan Peele, he's spitting right now. He telling us some stuff, I guess. And then, they're all pretending to, and it's a very evocative image.
It is.
Like, it's very evocative.
It is.
But much like today, I've always thought, well, who's making the shirts exactly like the shirts upstairs?
Exactly.
I was like, is it a printing press down there? Or how does this work with the shirts?
Okay. The movie makes no sense. All right? Notice we haven't really pulled at the plot. Right. Because it makes no sense.
Hey. But it's not about that. And if all you eat is rabbit, I feel like that's not enough to really sustain you. And
well, why not?
And I understand Tethered Adelaide was a bad girl, but she the only one to figure out to go up the steps? Like, it's just an escalator.
That's true. And she was a young girl when she did that.
Right.
That has always bothered me. It's like, it was really just the one young girl.
Right. And then when Red says, I realized I was special, and then I was in charge, and then I was like, it's like you were like 7 when you got kidnapped, and now you're like 37. You trying to tell me like after like 3 years you didn't just come back, come up the steps or something?
Well, I mean, all right. I'm not gonna pull at it that much because I can see them keeping the little girl down there. All right, especially when they realize that she can actually talk. Like she can actually she can order DoorDash for us. You know what I mean? So I can see her not going up the steps, and then as you said, she spends her formative years.
Right.
With the tethered.
She talks about eating the rabbit raw and bloody. I was like,
her throat is kind of messed up.
At some point, they start a fire. It's like, why don't you cook the rabbit?
Look.
Something.
Okay.
I just had questions.
You have questions.
And then they did it like in Nope, where they had the moment where Zora said, they're controlling us through the fluoride. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess this is kind of speaking to government conspiracy. Because in the film's defense, what we know about the tethered, when Red has her monologue about the tethered being down there, she has the most powerful words in the English language when she starts. She says, I believe.
Right.
That this is that and the other this. So, she's clearly an unreliable narrator because she was kidnapped
as a little girl
by her evil doppelganger when she was 7 and handcuffed to a bed.
Right.
Adelaide was a bad girl.
She was. She was.
Adelaide said to Zora, you can do anything you want to if you set your mind to it.
That's right.
It's like, is this,
It didn't land like that when my mom said it.
Right. Exactly. Oh, you won't be in the Olympics? Oh, you can be in the Olympics if you want it bad enough.
I went crying to my dad like, Mommy said I could be whatever I wanted.
If I want it bad enough. Boy, look. When they start coming in and Red told Zora, go put your shoes on. I said, oh shit, it is go time.
Yeah.
It is. And then she told, you know what I love about Gabe? Gabe perfectly read the room. Gabe perfectly, Gabe was, I'm dad, I'm the husband, I'm in charge. And Adelaide said in a tethered voice tone, you do not get to make the decisions anymore. Gabe said, all right. All right. You got it.
Yep. Winston Duke, ladies and gentlemen.
Winston Duke reading the room.
So would you recommend that people see Us?
Absolutely. Look. Until further notice, I really do think 3 Up, 3 Down, you have to watch Jordan Peele's movies.
Yeah, it's only been 3.
Yeah,
he's produced so much.
Right. Like when Jordan Peele actually gets behind the camera, you gotta watch it. And I think there's a lot. This is a great meal. Mm-hmm. This is a great meal. As we both said, you want to turn your brain off.
It's a whole
get some popcorn.
Max cheese thing.
Right. Like you turn your brain off, just get some popcorn. Hell, have some drinks, watch it, and just as an enjoyable thriller, I think it 100% works like that. Delivers. If you want to watch this clear-eyed with a notebook and your computer open, looking up articles and cross-referencing it, and just as this very cerebral text, I think it works like that as well. But if you just want to see some great performances, I still think child actor performances are few and far between. Mm-hmm. And frankly, black child actors don't have the opportunities to shine that often. And you get 3 great kid performances in here. 3 great kid performances who are acting as 2 people. Like each of the kids gets to be their doppelganger, which is pretty extraordinary. And then, just the performances across the board. Like we've talked about these four, and I don't know if I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. to watch any Tim Heidecker or anything, but I was really pleasantly surprised by his performance. And on the other end, like I said, I'm not going to say definitively this is her best performance, but it's easily my favorite Lupita Nyong'o performance. So yeah, absolutely.
I would definitely also recommend that you see Us, ladies and gentlemen. It is a phenomenal film and one that rewards upon rewatching. So if you have seen it already, watch it again. Introduce it to someone. It's a film that I think works as a horror movie, but also as a thriller, like you said. I mean, there are definitely some touches of M. Night Shyamalan or some of your best horror auteurs in this, but there are definitely also shades of Hitchcock, Brian De Palma in this movie as well. So you can see all of Jordan Peele's influences right here on the film, but filtered through his mindset, because he definitely brings his own creative bent to the script as well as to the direction. Phenomenal film. Go see Us. All right. That concludes our review. Before we tell you what we're going to be reviewing next week, I invite you to follow the Micheaux Mission on the social media of your choice, whether or not it be Instagram, Facebook, or X, or even in YouTube at Micheaux Mission, at MICHEAUX MISSION, especially if it is on YouTube, where you can hit that bell, subscribe to the Micheaux Mission, and be notified of when we go live, when we post up our new videos and everything, and just like that, and much, much more. If you want to introduce people to the Micheaux Mission, they can find it on YouTube. You can also find the audio podcast wherever you find podcasts, whether or not that be Apple, Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, wherever you find podcasts, the Micheaux Mission is right there. So tell a friend, check it out, and leave us a 5-star rating and a review to let us know and let the world know what you think of our show. The Micheaux Mission is also a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. They make podcasts work, such as ours, who you can connect with via email. Send your email to the Micheaux Mission at gmail.com. Again, that's MICHEAUX MISSION at gmail.com. The Micheaux Mission also will be taking part in the Be Real Micheaux screening series on Wednesday, October 23rd, alongside our good friend Stephanie Watts of the Be Real Black Cinema Club, as we return to Bryn Mawr Film Institute for our screening in Bootober of Attack the Block.
Yes, sir.
The sci-fi thriller that put John Boyega on the map. A great time at the films. Please come out to see us as we do a live talkback afterwards, and grab yourself a free soft pretzel. Next week, here on the Micheaux Mission, Vincent and I will be joined by our frequent Bootober guests, the Ghouls Next Door.
Ah, the Ghouls.
As they will be sitting down, Gabe and Kat, to review with us from 2022 their selection, Talk to Me. One of the more highly praised horror films of the last few years.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's time for us to sink our teeth into it here on the Micheaux Mission. Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting we say,